Satnam. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your channel for grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. Welcome to our full moon in Aries astrology, human design, and gene keys reading. I'm going to show you the chart, the astrology chart of the full moon. Also, we're going to look at the human design lens and the lens of the gene keys. And I'm going to read to you actually from the Siddhic frequency of the gene key, which is the highest vibrational potential that the full moon invites us into. And I love focusing on the Siddhi for that reason, that it's uplifting. And we always want to raise the frequency, raise the vibe as much as we can. So I am back home for a few days and back in my home studio, but I actually leave again on Monday. This full moon is happening on Monday, and normally I would do the full moon Akashic reading and music on the day of the full moon, but we're going to do it a day before. We're going to do it on Sunday because I'm still here, and I've got, it's hard to go live when I don't have my studio, almost impossible. So where my adventure is taking me next is to Argentina. I'm going to be hanging out with my dad. He's having his 75th birthday party. And so my husband and I are going down for that. Then I will be going straight from Argentina to Peru with Robert Grant and going to be exploring all the ancient sites in Peru, which I absolutely cannot wait for that to happen. It's going to be a crazy month. It was a crazy month already because I had to go to LA for a month, and it was like, so everything's been so different than I thought it was going to be, but I'm excited and I'm having a lot of fun, and I'm just going with the flow, which is the best thing that we can do. So while I'm in Argentina, I will have my laptop and I will do my best to broadcast the weeklies and also to do at least a minimum of a full moon reading. I may be recording videos and uploading them and premiering them for you guys to watch. I may be going live through the Zoom webinar feature, which doesn't allow me to create an event beforehand on YouTube. So you have to make sure that you have the notification bell on so you get notified when I go live. And we'll play it by ear and we'll see how it goes. Because again, I have no idea, I'm going to be in a totally different country. My dad has pretty good Wi-Fi, but you never know. So I just wanted to let you guys know in case you see things changing a little bit for the next month or so. I'm going on another crazy adventure. This is my third international trip this year. I've gone to Egypt twice now, and Peru and Argentina. So it's kind of like two more international trips. So 4 in 1 year. Holy moly. Life has definitely been so different this year than I could have ever expected it. But it's actually really cool because it just shows me that there's been so much, manifesting. This year for me has been a year of a lot of manifesting and having to, stay on top of things and not resist. There's a lot of changes happening, but they're good and exciting things. And it's teaching me a lot when it comes to learning to go with the flow and really trusting that the universe is guiding us, exactly where we need to be. So that's just a little announcement before we dive into today's topic. But I do want to say hi to everybody that's here in the chat. Hello, Carmelola. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hello, Linda. Hello, Shayna. Jill, welcome. We've got Kate. Thanks for being here. Stick and Stones. Rebecca is here. Aloha. Much love from the Big Island. Thank you. Yes, like and share this video. It always helps to get it out. When you like the video, specifically the video, it does help the algorithm and it helps for it to go out to more people that like it. Hey, Ash. Good to see you. And if you are here watching live, say hi in the chat. I love the chat interaction. So, of course, the energy this week has been some quite interesting for me. It's been a week where I have been feeling like low energy for sure. I have also been, for the last month, doing a lot of physical activity. I've been like going to yoga. I've been working out and actually feel amazing in my body. That's a really, really good thing. I'm trying to get myself ready and trained for Peru, which is very high altitude place. So I'm ready. I did it, which is awesome. I'm really proud of myself for that. But it's weird energy. I was traveling this week. I'm back home. Things seem like eerily kind of quiet for the last few weeks. I mean, Virgo season was freaking crazy, both collectively and also individually. Just a lot of like things that have felt like they've been in our face. And you just have to keep walking, and you don't really have a choice. And it's felt a little bit heavy because of that. And at the same time, everything's been going amazing. So I think we've been holding these two polarities I feel like these last couple of months already. And yes, but there are some really cool things that have essentially come to be and come into fruition this month that are also very exciting, besides like the traveling and all of that. And so I want to share, I've been talking about it, but I want to share one of these things with you because I'm very proud of it and I'm very excited. And I want to invite you to join me in this journey if you feel called. So you guys may have seen that Ashley and I did a 4-week mini course called The Sacred Coordinates, the Map. And in that 4 weeks, we talked about all the things that I've been getting so many questions about this year and doing so many readings is, what's the next step? Where can I take this from here? Should I book another reading? And so out of those questions, out of exploration, out of desire, out of like noticing that there was like, I was really inspired to offer something new, and it definitely felt like something new needed to come through, like a new class, or is it I'm supposed to teach a new class? Is it that I'm supposed to, do a new offering? And so one thing has led to another, and lo and behold, we've designed and launched a new program called Aligned by Design. And the mini course was a great introduction into all of the topics that Aligned by Design is meant to help you step into. So one of them is, what is your soul's blueprint? Why is it important to know your soul's blueprint? What does it mean to know your soul's blueprint? All those questions related to astrology, human design, gene keys, your strategy, your authority, all the things, your incarnation cross, your purpose, your life's work, all of it together creates like your design. And being fully aware of it is really important. So that's part of living aligned by design. The other part of it is understanding what does it mean to actually embody those things. You're naturally embodying them, but there is this thing that we call conditioning that happens throughout life, especially through childhood. We get conditioned to believe certain things. We adopt other people's belief systems, ideas, thoughts, and they become our own in the sense that we think that this is who we are, when in reality, that's not who we are. And there's layers that we need to peel off like an onion from ourselves first to fully like glow in the embodiment of our design. So in order to truly live aligned by design, the first step is to learn to peel the layers of who you are not, your not self, so you can fully live in your actual self. And then there's this concept of devotion that we also talked about in the mini course, and how you can't just like sometimes be on it and sometimes be like, I'm bored, I don't want to do that right now. It's not like that. It's like once you commit, your whole heart has to be in it. Devotion is basically dropping from the head to the heart and being so devoted to yourself that you're willing to do all the important things needed on the path for you to truly live aligned by design. And that means knowing boundaries, knowing your own boundaries, knowing what you're willing to put into this, knowing how deep down the rabbit hole you want to go. All those things are very important to define for yourself. And then to know that, okay, it's not going to be easy. Like, healing is not easy by any means. There's sometimes a lot of things about ourselves that we need to see and face and move through that are very important, that are a must if we're going to live aligned by design. And so you have to fully devote yourself to yourself, which is actually really beautiful and amazing and has been such a rewarding thing for me in my own life. And I would love to inspire you to also experience that as well. So now we have launched this program and it's ready for you to jump on this boat and figure out all of those pieces. So to share with you what this looks like, I'm going to do this screen share and walk through it a little bit. So what is the reason behind why we did it. But what you're going to experience is your unique soul blueprint and how to live in alignment with it. The shadows that keep you blocked from your purpose, from your love and your abundance, because we cover all 3 gene key sequences throughout the program. The healing of your inner child and the reclamation of the lost soul fragments, those pieces that were left behind in the past that you need to bring back. You need to call yourself back. You need to put yourself back together again, like Humpty Dumpty. You're going to gain a deeper understanding of your relationships and your soul contracts. And those are very, very important because they are interrelated to your growth and your evolution and your ability to fully step into your dharma, your purpose. And you'll get tools and practices to integrate the healing into your everyday life. There's going to be homework, personalized homework, you guys, because this is me. It's me, Ashley, and you. And when you sign up for it, you're going to go through a series of 10 different sessions with us, personal sessions. Think of us like, it's not like a coaching program. I don't necessarily like that word. It's more of like we're guiding you through the steps that we feel are the most important for you to fully step into living aligned by design. And it includes all those things that I was talking about. So for example, session 1 is like, we need to get to know you. We need to get like comfortable with each other. So we spend a whole hour just talking. We want to hear your story. We want to know where you're at. We want to know, how can we personalize this for you? What do you need out of this program? Not everybody's going to need the same thing. Not everybody's going to be in the same place. And that's why this is so freaking epic, because it's literally all for you. Then we dive into your soul's blueprint in the second session. That's when we go over your astrology, your human design, your gene keys, and we present to you what all these things mean. And so the session itself is meant to help you gain clarity about your strategy, your authority, your gifts, your purpose, which if you consciously anchor into your everyday action and into your everyday decision making, then that's a one step closer to begin to live in alignment with your true self. And then we start going a little bit deeper, because part of healing has to do with, there's a physical aspect, that's the body. There's an emotional aspect, that's like soul, at a soul level. And then there's a mental aspect, and that's at the spiritual level. So it's body, mind, spirit in a sense, or body, soul, and mind. And so working with all of those all those things have to be engaged with and looked at and addressed. So then we step into doing an energy reading for you to look into your chakras, to look into where is there any imbalances, where is there dissonance, how can we clear, reset the energy. You can do this, and you essentially kind of, while we guide you through the process, you're kind of learning how to do it yourself as well. But we're going into the Akashic records and we're diving deep. And then throughout the sessions, we're going into a new sequence in the gene keys, and then in the next one, and then the next one. So everything is planned out. It's like it really is a pathway. It really is a map, a journey. And once we get into that, then we start diving deeper into relationship aspects and soul contracts and important soul contracts. We actually explore one specific soul contract that you have with someone in your life that's the most challenging one, because those are the ones that we learn from the most. So we dive into, how does this relationship, how does this soul contract help me? How is it helping me to step into my design? What is it teaching me? What am I supposed to learn from this relationship? So once we access those points, we start to dive deeper into the whole emotional healing aspect. And that is where the soul retrievals start to come into the picture. So the soul retrievals are basically shamanic soul retrievals, where you're being gently guided into a time in the past. And usually it's childhood, where there was some trauma that happened that's still kind of playing out in your life right now, that's holding you back, because it hasn't been integrated back into you. It's like, think of it as like you're walking through and you've got these little pieces of yourself, and the trauma happens and some part of you gets stuck in the past, couldn't move forward because it was too afraid. So you go back and you gently call that piece back into you. And so it's a beautiful guided journey, very interactive, where we essentially, we pinpoint the origin of the shadow in childhood, and then we work through a gentle guided hypnosis to quantumly clear, heal, and reset the timeline. And when you do that, it's like we're traveling through time, you guys. It's like, so the soul retrieval is the time travel. And they can be exponentially, quantumly powerful. You're going to also receive Reiki, long distance Reiki, and you're going to do a past life regression with me, which is the QHHT method, which I learned through Dolores Cannon, to access information from past lives or even in between lives. And what is important for you to know, we can communicate with your spirit guides, and we can talk to your higher self in a past life regression and ask your higher self specific questions. It's very, very profound. And then we integrate everything in the end. So it's very involved. It's very personalized. It's literally what people have been asking me for. And the guides that are going to guide you through this, of course, is me and then Ashley. And when you go to the site, just go to my website and click on Aligned by Design tab. You're going to see all this information. And I'd like to share this before we now dive into the astrology of the full moon in Aries, is that, how do you know if this is for you? So this journey is for you if you feel out of alignment with your purpose or your path, if you feel lost and unsure of which direction to go, if you're ready to face your shadows and heal your inner child, if you long to experience abundance, wholeness, and deeper love, if you've been doing the work, but you feel like you've hit a plateau, if you need direction and guidance, if you want to do the work, but there's a fear of going this deep alone, if you thrive working with a guide to help you on track, stay on track and engaged in the process, and if you don't want to do it alone anymore. And I think a lot of us are kind of on that boat. It's like we've gotten up to a certain point, but then we're kind of stuck. And so we want to help you move past that block, move past the point where you're at. So this could be for a total beginner. It could be for someone who's been on the path for a while. Remember, Ashley and I, one of the coolest things about just us in general is that we are both projectors. And projectors are designed to see into your energy, to read your energy and get very clear information about how you can live more efficiently, where the issues are. You may be unable to see them in yourself, but when you talk in the intuitive realm. So remember that Ashley and I are both projectors, and we're different types of projectors. So it's like you've got these two sort of lenses that are going to help you and gain a lot of information to go through this process successfully. So it's very exciting. I want to, I can't state enough how much this program is going to quantumly leap you forward. And if you're like, it's time, it's time. Follow that intuition. Follow that knowing. And we can't wait to work with you. Also, I'll check the chat in a moment. Actually, let me see some of the comments that are popping up here in the chat. Rebecca says, loved the course, got to take the quiz. Yes. Thank you for reminding me that. There's deals if you sign up in October. If you sign up in October, you actually get one extra session. So you get 11 sessions instead of just 10. And you schedule the sessions about 6 to 7 months total. So about 2 to 3 weeks apart. And there's homework in between the sessions. So it's like you're going to be constantly in contact with us for like 6 to 7 months. Like you're going to have access to like our, we're going to be in direct like ability for you to ask us questions throughout the whole process. We want it to be very interactive and very active on your part, because you don't want to lose the momentum. And that's that's the things that happens when we're like, oh, I'm so excited to go. And then the momentum dies. We're going to keep that momentum going. We're going to keep you very, let me check on the sound. Is it still bad? Hang on. Okay, 1 second. Check. Okay. Is that any better, you guys? I know I'm seeing the messages, so let me know if it's back. I'll check it as well on my end. And I guess we'll see. Says it should be working. I think it's back. I think it's back. Sorry about that. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Whew, thank God you guys were here. So sometimes I'm recording videos and that happens and there's no way for me to know because there's no one watching in real time. So, okay, good. If it happens again, let me know. Okay, good. Thank you so much for being here and letting me know that. So anyways, just to kind of wrap that up, we want to keep you engaged. We want to keep you excited about the process. Oh, is it in? Oh, dang. Oh, it's doing that. All right. I don't know. I'm hoping this time it works. Somebody said still good. Somebody said still in and out. Let's see. No, it's still doing that. Okay, this is really annoying. What's it doing actually? Hang on. Check. Since it's working on my end, but I'm resetting things. Some people say it's good, some people say it's not. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, so I wonder if it's YouTube. Let me turn this off and back on. Okay, it seems okay now. Okay, so let me type this in. So go, there's a little echo only because, okay, it should be fine, you guys. I think it should be fine now. Yeah, like, okay, what does this sound like now? And then also, if you're watching on YouTube, just X the video out and turn it back on. Holy shit. Okay, are we good now? God. That's what I'm talking about. So weird. But you know what? It's like every time I have to take the office apart and then put it back together, it does that. Okay, I think we're okay now. I think it's fine. So anyways, thank you for letting me share all of that. It is so exciting to be a part of this, you know, kind of revolution, this new age that we're moving into. And yeah, okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to talk about this full moon that is happening in Aries. And let's get this ready. Okay, so here we go. So this is the chart of the full moon, and I don't think you're able to see the mouse. So I'm on my everything's on my computer because now earlier, like my iPad's been acting up and I can't use it. So anyways, here we go. Let's just dive in. But I can highlight over these things and you might be able to see that. Like the moon, highlighting the moon. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I'm highlighting the moon. So the moon, so this full moon is happening at 14 degrees of Aries, and it's happening exactly on October 6th. Okay, I'm glad the sound is good for now. Thank you guys so much. I never even finished looking at the questions that you guys were posting. Hold on. Because I got distracted. Yeah, Rebecca was saying she loved the course. I know. Oh, I wanted to tell you about that. I was telling you about this deals. Okay, so if you sign up in October, you get one extra session, one more session. So you get 11 sessions. Plus, if you take the quiz from the Sacred Coordinates, the map course, you're going to get, if you get a 90% or better, you're going to get enter to win a free Akashic reading. So like another reading, Akashic record reading. And then you also get a coupon for $100 off. And when you select on the pay in full option, there's payment options there. There's the program Affirm and the program Klarna, and they can give you sometimes a way better payment plan than I can offer. But I'm also offering payment plans as well. So check it out because there's really no excuse to make this work if this feels in alignment for you. All right, let's dive into this frickin' moon. So it's in Aries, and in fact, I should actually go over this information first. In general, 14 degrees of Aries, it's activating Andromeda, which is the liberation of the soul. It's actually exactly on an Andromedan star, which is called, this one is, oh, the name's escaping me. What's the name of the star? I think it's Alpheratz. But it's an Andromeda starseed and stargate, and Pleiades is also active. So the Pleiades bring in the pure light consciousness, and they bring the codes for deep healing, like high vibrational healing. And it's love. It's a space of love. And then Andromeda is liberating the soul. So essentially, if there's any heaviness that you're experiencing, is there any chains that are holding you down from, uplifting or raising your vibration, your frequency, then the Andromeda is here to help us cut the chains, cut the cords, and liberate ourselves. So those two energies are working alongside this full moon. Then the chakra that it activates is the root chakra, which is the chakra where you're finding a connection to your earthly existence. So it's about being grounded and anchored. So it's really important to be anchored, but in the right way. Like, you don't want to be anchored through chains that hold you down. You want to be anchored through like a cord, a grounding cord that reaches into the center of the earth. But when you're walking on earth, you feel supported underneath in the physical space, time, reality, in matter. Then this activates the reproductive system. So it's all about like birthing new things, right? Remember, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and it's also the beginning of the wheel. And because of that, it's the baby, it's the birth. It's like it comes to life. It's cardinal fire. It's the spark that lights the fire. It's a birth. So the reproductive system insinuates that the energy of Aries ties into birthing new things. And then we have the 21st gene key and the 21st gate and the 5th line, which the 5th line is all about leadership. So there's something about this full moon that's asking us to step into leadership, to fix things, right? To become the fixer in a way, to embody, to like accept the invitation to become a leader so that we can improve the world. And I think that that's very powerful energy. So we've got this 5th line, that's the fixer. It's also the heretic. So you definitely need to make sure that you're aligned with like what you believe in, like your beliefs, like everything has to be, all your little ducks need to be in a row so that when you step into leadership, it's like, okay, you are not being projected upon. You're actually, you know exactly where you are, who you are, what you can offer. And that's a true leader, is they get right to work, And this moon is inviting us to step into leadership. That's how I would read that 5th line energy. But know that, yes, there is the potential of being projected upon, of people looking at you very weird if they're not in alignment with you. And you have to be very aware of how your energy is being received so that you can make the right decisions for yourself about whether this is the right space or whether this is the right situation for you, if you're going to be in this leadership role. And when I say leadership role, I mean like authority. There's a part of this, there's actually a really powerful frequency here that's talking about being your authority, like know who you are. Like the 5th line, it's like, no, I know I'm powerful. I don't just use my power to manipulate. I use my power for good, right? That's the good leader versus the bad, So that's important. All those things are the basic energies of this full moon. And so now we can go into and look at the chart. And this chart is, there's, obviously we've got the moon opposing the sun. That's what determines whether it's a full moon or not. And then we can look at some of the other aspects that are happening between this full moon, between the planets. First of all, who's the ruler? Let's play a little game. Who's the ruler of Aries? The ruler of Aries is Mars. And Mars is over here in Scorpio. And he also co-rules the sign of Scorpio. So he's the one channeling the energy. Mars represents drive and motivation. So this full moon is about, where are you putting this drive and motivation? There's a spark that's wanting to light. It's also a full moon, so it is a celebration. It is a completion of a cycle. So it's like the celebration of, the spark of life. And Mars in Scorpio is like, that's strong determination. That's strong willpower. That's, if you know what you want, there's really nothing that can get in the way of you getting it if you truly know what you want. So the key is, do you know what you want? It's Libra season. And in Libra can take so long trying to figure things out, trying to decide, that it spends too much time like weighing the odds. And Mars is not about that. So it's there that it's the possibility of getting lost in the both and, instead of just making a choice and making a decision. To make a decision, first of all, you need to know your strategy and your authority, but you need to follow those deep gut knowings. And that shows up differently for everybody, but we're celebrating the spark of life, the birthing of things, the birthing of new things into life, but also we're being invited to, determine and be determined ourselves on our path of liberation. Because remember, the moon is on Andromeda, the liberation of the soul. Also, you see that Mercury will have just entered into Scorpio, I believe, on the same day that the full moon is happening. And that means that the mind is ready as well. The mind is not playing around anymore. So there's a lot of things in terms of Mars energy and Pluto energy that are strong and directing the show. So if you trust your gut intuition, you'll know where it is you're being guided. It's interesting though, because Mercury is actually making a square to Pluto. And that brings up tension. It's almost like if you're not 100% sure, the challenge is basically you need to figure it out. like you don't really have too much time to really think about it. And essentially it's journeying us, it's taking us deeper into the mind space. So it's actually a positive way of being really engaged, fully engaged in what's going on in life. Like Scorpio goes deep and Aries takes action. So all of those things are, see how that determination energy is strong? That's where I would start by looking at this. So what other aspects are going on? Let's look at Venus, because Venus is the ruler of the sun. So you've got the sun is in Venus's realm. The moon is in Mars' realm. So Venus is making a conjunction to the south node. That's challenging. That's difficult because Venus is, we're working through karma, relationship karma in this way. It's like you can't, you have to look at things. The south node is shining a light on those things that hold you back. And a lot of times, believe it or not, it's when you feel too comfortable. When things are challenging, you're your invitation is to face the challenge and to get through, to break through to the other side. But when you are essentially just staying put, not really doing anything about it, you're like consenting to just sitting in that karmic energy and not really resolving it. And it really is up to each and every one of us to resolve our own karma. And you can't do it by just sitting there doing nothing. And that's what Venus is saying. It's like, okay, there's something important that you need to see that is related to your growth, your deep, deep growth. Relationships are the place where we essentially are 100% learning. That's where we can have the breakthroughs. But yes, you get triggered in relationships. So you might be feeling triggered in some kind of way in a relationship because it's like trying to clear the air, clear the energy. You have to look at it. You have to work through it. So that's heavy. That can be heavy. That's not an easy transit or aspect at all. When you look at the connection to, well, let's look at what else we have in Aries first. So we have Chiron in Aries. And Chiron is the wounded healer. So he's been for a while now teaching us how to step into our full knowing of ourselves. So it's like, if you don't know who you are and if you don't know what you're doing here, you better get on the boat and figure it out. Chiron is here to help us do that. But that means facing the fears, facing things about ourselves that we don't like, and like going through the healing of a core wound, which is what Chiron represents, is literally the stepping into the acknowledgement of also at the same time how much you not resolving or healing that core wound is keeping you stuck. You have to recognize that core wounds, at least the ones that we've taken on and that we're collectively working on right now, we chose to heal this right now. Like collectively, we're like, okay, time for healing with Chiron and Aries, which is all about the self. And then you also have Neptune in Aries, and he's about to go back into Pisces. And then the show is going to get crazy because like a lot of illusion. I mean, it's going to be the most intense fog that I feel that you have seen in a long time. Like 2025 is just going to get crazier. Okay. But you choose, right? Aries is about, it's like making a choice. It's taking action. It's like you have to push. It's like the seed, if it wants to sprout, it needs to like push and get really uncomfortable and break through despite the fear, and then realize that once it's not in its little cocoon anymore, then it's free and it's growing. And it was like, oh my God, I was so scared to see what was on the other side. I felt so safe in here in my little cocoon, but then I was like, it was so uncomfortable and I had to push through, and I thought I was going to die, but then I didn't. It was a breakthrough. So essentially this moon could be inviting us into a powerful breakthrough as well. And this Chiron is making a square to Jupiter. Jupiter's in Cancer, and he's inviting us to take care of ourselves. He's inviting us to know what's truly important for us right now. But what is important is you need to heal yourself before you can find the full like home feeling. The home is where the heart is, requires you to be in your heart. And if you're not in your heart, then you're not home. Kind of interesting, right? Uranus is the one that's activating the Pleiadians, and he's making a trine to Pluto, which is good. This is enhanced mental energy, and it's also an opening of the mind space so that we can, instead of being so resistant and closed off in the mind, we can be a little bit open to change. Change is inevitable. And working collectively, it's like we're learning how to work together again. That's one of the biggest lessons that we're learning in the transition of, into 2027 is we're learning all the ways that we're not working very well together collectively and as networks, and how to work together again in a better way. So that's what we're figuring out now with these outer planets. And remembering to stay open in the space of the mind and to have clarity. Because you have to understand certain aspects of how the world works. Otherwise, it's too confusing and you don't know what to do. And that's when you don't know how to act or what to decide, is when you don't know how things work. Well, that's why the ancient esoteric traditions always taught, this is how the universe works. Once you know how it works, it's like, oh, easy. I know what decision to make. I know what to look for. I know where my intuition lives. So that clarity is so important. And I feel like these two planets are bringing in mental activation to the point where like, okay, it's going to become a little easier to find more clarity, especially once Neptune and Saturn go back into Aries next year. That clarity will be about, okay, now it's the full like green light go. But we're still working through some personal things, and we're getting, again, closer and closer to 2027, which is when the raves are coming. So it's transition time, you guys. And when we're in transition time, everything feels like crazy circus. The moon itself, and this is really interesting, the moon itself is not really making any aspects to anything. So it kind of feels like it's floating all by itself over here. So what can the moon anchor itself to? It's Andromeda, Alpharats. And the story of Andromeda is you have to let go of the things that hold you back. You need to be very clear about what's holding you back. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to move forward at all. Like if you think, oh, it's this, but it's not that at all, then you're still stuck. That's why the clarity is important. But it's really weird that the moon is kind of, I don't think it's void off course, but I think it's like kind of all by itself, not really communicating to anybody. And it may feel like, I don't really know what to do. But the key is, no, we know what to do because it's on Andromeda. We need to cut the chains of the things that hold us back, and then we'll feel the ability to communicate and connect different pieces of the puzzle together. But I love that Mercury is in Scorpio. I love that Mars is in Scorpio. They are going to help. They're definitely going to help during this time. So remember, full moons are all about celebration. So there's a completion, but we're also celebrating the spark and the birthing of new things coming into the world. So let's talk about, from the lens of human design, where this is at. So human design, let me see if I can, I'm not able to, oh wait, I am. Okay. Well, let's see here. Okay, so here we go. So in human design, the moon is actually here on the 21st gate. And this gate is called the gate of the hunter or the gate of the huntress. And it's described in the I Ching as biting through, which is kind of interesting, right? Think about, what is this hunting energy about? Well, if you think about hunter-gatherers, which is exactly what this energy is talking about, the hunter is the one that goes out there and goes and gets the hunt, right? Goes on the hunt. And the gatherer is the one that, like, okay, once the animal has been killed, then the gatherers will cook it, will take care of it. Usually, this was like the men were the warriors and the hunters, and the women were the gatherers, right? That's the traditional history of it. And so this is the warrior side of this energy. It's the hunter or the huntress, right? And this is people who must be materially independent and who thrive when given control. These people have a need and a gift for being in control of the things in their life, especially money, food, territory, and lifestyle. This gate is best represented by the archetype of the managing director of the company. These are people who are at their best when they are in control of situations. They do not enjoy having anyone else tell them what to do or how to do it. So in our modern way of looking at this, how do we hunt in modern life? Well, we become breadwinners. We go and find the money and the resources, and we're the ones that provide. This is the provider, right? So what this is referring to, the whole channel itself, the 21st and 45, which is in the throat, which is the gate of the gatherer. Well, first of all, it's a channel that connects from the ego center. This is the ego center. It's willpower. And the 21 just talks about the ability to provide by being able to go hunt for the money, and then the 25 gathers it. And then it's from the ego to the throat, which is expression and manifestation. So when you go hunting and you bring back the hunt to the gatherer, you're the moneymaker. This is about resources. This channel, I don't know if anybody has the 45, but if you do and you don't have the 21, then the channel will be like kind of fully active for that moment. But it's called the money line. And it's basically literally about the material plane and about embracing fully this material plane. Like, how much money do you need? Well, go make that much money. And it's about going and hunting for what you need through the power of your will. And it's about doing it yourself. It's not about working for somebody else. It's like, nope, you are the one that makes the decisions. You're the one that takes it to that level. So this is very interesting in terms of the lens of the human design. It's determination. It's willpower being activated. It's we're becoming the hunters. It's the invitation to step into the role of the hunter. Okay, so let's expand that a little bit and look at it through the lens of the gene keys. So in the gene keys, you have the shadow of control, the gift of authority, and the city of valor. Richard Rudd says, ultimately, this city will be needed by all travelers into the beyond because it takes valor to die with an open heart. To give up our identity, our attachments, our body, and merge into the limitless light requires the exquisite cocktail of courage and love. It's called a noble life. So through the lens of the gene keys, the invitation of this full moon is to live a noble life. Control is referred to as the demise of hierarchy. Authority is referred to the authority of submission, and valor is the new age of chivalry, right? So it's like chivalry, but a modern chivalry. We're being taught to step into valor by letting go of control, which helps us step into authority. And because this is also found on the 5th line, that adds to that frequency. This is the codon ring of humanity, which is my favorite one. It's the story of the hero's journey. The sacred wound at the heart of humanity and the reasons for all of our suffering can be unlocked by the gene keys that make up this codon ring. As one of the most complex codon groups, each of the gene keys in this group represent an archetypal aspect of the human story, together encapsulating all the mythic elements of what it means to be a human being. Wounded from the outset, you must do battle with your shadows, overcome the limitations of your mind, surrender your need to control life. That's the 21. That's the journey where we need to surrender our need to be in control and find your true self before you awaken. That it's part of that journey, which definitely calls in, okay, where in life, this is the question you got to ask yourself, where in life are you trying to be too much in control of everything? The moon says you need to surrender your need to be in control. You need to step into authority and valor instead of like restriction and control. Because when you try to control things, you're not going to be on the intuitive space. And the interesting thing is that the sun, which is on the other side, right, of the full moon, is on the 48th, which is known as the well. So intuition is available, but it's available through the sun. And the sun is in Libra, and it is in fall position. So it's about becoming wise about what is the right path forward. It's checking in with your deep knowing. And this is the kind of knowing, the 48 is in the spleen. It's the kind of knowing that comes through instinctively. You don't need to look for it. It'll be there when you need it. But you don't want to miss those gentle winds. You don't want to miss those little messages that come through. And that means you got to trust. So if you receive a little message, an intuitive message, and you're like, I don't know, if you doubt it, you're not going to be going in the right direction. You'll be trying to control instead of surrender your need to be in control. The whole journey is we need to surrender the need to be in control and trust our deeper intuition, find the balance between the two. So action is needed. Yes, ego, willpower, but intuition is very important. It's like follow your instinct, and to know what those are for you. That's why you need to know your design. There's only one way to know, and is you got to study your designs. All right, you got to study your charts. You got to know everything about you. And then you'll be, guided in the right direction. So very interesting that this is where we're finding the dynamic between the sun and the moon in the ego and the spleen centers. So this moon is very much about willpower, but not in the not to drop into a shadow sense of like, I need to be in control of everything. Nope, that's not it. You need to remember that your intuition sometimes doesn't give you rational answers, and that's okay. You don't need to be fully in control. You need to surrender that, because it's a shadow of this full moon. You need to surrender that, and then the magic happens. And then the spark of life awakens, and we can actually move forward. So we're on the hero's journey right now. So this is highlighting a piece of the hero's journey where we need to surrender our need to control life. So what does that mean to you? Where in life are you trying to control everything? That's what's going to help you to get through to the other side. And so now what I would like to do is actually let's read about what's the highest vibrational frequency of this. And it's valor. So what is valor? Like, what does valor actually mean? And in order to do that, we are going to actually read from the Gene Keys book about what is valor. It's interesting because the 21st Gene Key is my attraction sphere in my Venus sequence, which means I attract people into my life that trigger the shadow of control so that I can heal and step into authority. It's not easy, I'll tell you that. Okay, so valor. What is a valor all about? The new age of chivalry. You ready? Let's find the magic. In the 21st gift, we saw that true authority based on service inspires loyalty. At the highest level of consciousness, This coupling of love and power gives way to a great and peerless ideal, the ideal of valor. We tend to associate the word valor with courage, particularly the courage shown by soldiers during battle. Although there is some truth to this image, the use of the word valor as a Siddhic aspect of consciousness goes far beyond the idea of courage in the face of adversity. Valor is the highest frequency of the 21st gene key. It is a living energy field released into a world through a particular chemical signature within your genetics. Valor is the byproduct of another potent word, which is nobility. To understand nobility is to dive into the realm of human destiny. In the social history of humanity and in our collective unconscious, there has persisted an image of a royal human being, the king or the queen, the emperor or empress, the symbol of the highest potential within man and woman. Nobility is the quality usually associated with royalty or genetic pedigree, although down through the ages, our human attempts to bestow such projections on certain personages has usually been shown severely wanting. Nobility, we have discovered, has little to do with breeding and much more to do with character. Indeed, most of our heroic myths center on this notion of human nobility and valor. Valor then can be understood as nobility in action. It contains virtue, wisdom, love, courage, and above all, sacrifice. A true valorous deed is an act of absolute self-surrender in which you lay your entire being on the line for a higher ideal. Ooh, that's devotion, you guys. In our history books, this may have been recorded as dying for king and country, but in the language of the cities, it is really about dying into a divine ideal. At the shadow level, the need to control fosters fear and reaction in others. At the gift level, authority inspires loyalty. At the Siddhic level, valor invokes communion. There is a deep genetic connection between the 45th city of communion and the 21st city of valor, because those make the money line. Communion is about merging your individual being into a higher collective being. And this is precisely what happens through the frequency of valor. Valor need not even act. It is a vibration of such intensity that it makes the hearts of others weep. Whoa. It is the recognition of true nobility in another and the realization that the other is your mirror. As an aspect of the ring of humanity, we see that all human beings have this higher recognition at their final destiny. No matter who you are or what kind of life you lead, at a certain points in your life, you are given the opportunity to act with valor. Ooh, is this an opportunity to act with valor, you guys? These moments are mythic moments, and the script of your future life hinges upon them. To act with valor is to enter a higher world. Valor is the first great manifestation of the breakdown of the resistance between the opposite poles within relationships. It is the bowing of one being to the nobility within another. The bowing of one being to the nobility within another. That sounds like namaste. The light in me shines and bows and honors the light within you. Mystically speaking, it is represented by the fourth initiation of matrimony. You can see the 22nd gene key, in which the quality of valor actually courts annihilation through its self-sacrifice to another being. It is the absolute surrender of control into your hierarchical role. This means that socially you surrender to your position, and mystically you surrender to your karma. Whoa. Valor is the absolute courage and love of seeing the divine reflection within the face of another, no matter how unpleasant that other may appear to be. Damn, I just got chills on that one. Valor signifies the ending of all karma, even though the states preceding it often carry a great deal of karma. Valor must be forged on the anvil of life. You have to realize that no matter how muddy the waters you find yourself in, your pure nature can never be soiled. If the 21st gene key is a part of your personal hologenetic profile, chances are you will need to get your hands dirty before you can understand this paradox. Well, shit. No, I'm just kidding. To be a master, that is, a being who has attained realization through this city, you must lead by example. You have to know the absolute horrors of living within the most tightly controlled hierarchical situations. Holy shit, chills again. Damn. You have to understand the human need for control and the depths of your own fear of losing control. Whew. You have to be tested by the forces that will not relinquish control, and you have to continually be subjected to external controls. Oh, damn. Once you see that no external form of control can rob you of your true nobility, the city of valor will finally dawn deep inside your DNA. The being that has attained... Damn, you guys, this is... Fuck. The being that has attained realization through this city never feels like an authority figure, even though they may be. These rare people will commune with you as a friend, despite the exquisite fragrance of their state of consciousness. It is this very humbling quality within the city of valor that creates such deep levels of human communion. Even though the 21st city may be incredibly humble and friendly, it also packs a serious punch when threatened by the forces of fear. This is the energy field of true knighthood. Symbolized by the courageous and chivalrous acts of all great heroes and heroines. These forces will fight for the highest of ideals and hold that ideal for all those who follow them. Those within this city will gladly die for, and as an example of the highest ideal, the ideal of communion between all beings. The lives of such people become myths, often because of the sacrificial nature of their deaths. Damn! What the fuck? Even so, awakening through this city does not obviously foreshadow such a death. It is simply symbolic of the highest expression of the 21st gene key. With the advent of the 55th gene key and its reawakening of the spirit of romance within humanity, this 21st city is actually ushering in a new myth and a new age of chivalry. The essence of valor is to be found in the symbol of the male pole surrendering to the female pole. The programming partner of the 21st city is the 48th city of wisdom. That's where the sun is. I showed you that in the human design chart, which is one of the great archetypes of the divine feminine. So you've got the divine feminine and the divine masculine activating this polarity of this full moon. Valor, therefore, represents the surrender of control symbolized by men to trust, symbolized by woman. The surrender of control to trust. The surrender of control to trust. That is the gold right there, you guys. This surrender results in the absolute annihilation of the male force by the female force, an ancient mythic enactment contained in many ancient creation myths. The surrender of the male into the female creates a reversal of roles and poles, and thus the communion is fulfilled. Ironically, it is through this divine coupling that the male force is truly empowered through its opposite. In other words, the male force is knighted and empowered only through its surrender to the female. It is important to understand that this imagery is an internal truth rather than a literal representation of man and woman. The power of valor could thus be summarized as the courage and love that must be found within the lower self to die into the unknown world of the higher self. So this moon is inviting us into courage and love that must be found within the lower self to die into the unknown world of the higher self. Okay. Valor. To act with valor is to enter a higher world. So, just a quick side note, if you're in the shadow of this energy, the repressive nature is that you are submissive. If you're in the shadow of control, in the reactive nature, then you're controlling. So maybe you're like, I don't kind of control anything. Are you submissive? Submissive of controlling are the two energies that tell you you're in the shadow. You need to let go of the need to be in control and surrender and trust. Right? It's not easy. Valor is the courage and love that must be found within the lower self to die into the unknown world of the higher self. That's huge. It is very fitting though, because right now in the world, that's what we are missing. Valor. You agree with me or not? People are no longer willing to fight. And I don't mean fight in the sense of war. I just mean people are not willing to stand up. We're just getting pummeled. But it's not even really about standing up. It's more about that essence of trust. It's a big deal. So I'm going to leave you with this, which is what I wrote as the channeled message for this full moon in the Seasons and Stargates book. Control is an illusion. This is the deepest lesson of this full moon. This moon is eerily not making any aspects to any major planets, and Mercury in Scorpio is forming a yod from Uranus to Neptune. Both Aries and Scorpio are ruled by Mars, which means that willpower is strong, but it can seem confusing when the lesson is to let go of control, right? We are essentially perfectly aligned to learn this lesson. Mars sits in one of his strongest positions, ready for action but wise to the game. Maybe this time we need to wait for the opportune moment and not waste our energy. The bigger question is there anything at this time that is actually holding you back? Or are you truly in your power? With Mars also mysteriously not making any aspects to any major planets, we have to ask ourselves, is there a standstill? What do we need to wait for? There is something we need to dive into with our mind, a truth so deep that we need the assistance of Neptune and Uranus to access it. The portal is open. We have the strength to take the journey. Now we have to enter the void into another dimension in search for the answers. Enter into the underworld with your shield and armor. Nothing can hurt you but your own sense of weakness. Dude. That was quite the message. So, this moon is kind of intense, you guys. It's not the easiest of things. It's not like, oh yeah, it's another full moon. There's a lot of hard-hitting, very strong energies coming through about it. It's the will center, It's like shadow of control. Also recognizing, learning how to trust, but also stepping into valor, making sacrifices. There's a lot. And Mars is really involved. And it's interesting, Mars and the moon, and they're both not making any aspects, but they're in strong positions in a sense. So very, very, very strong energy. So if you're feeling that, then yeah, okay, if you have this 21st gene key in your hologenetic profile, where do you have it? It's important to know that that's where this full moon is going to highlight that energy. So you have to know where it's happening. For me, it's my attraction sphere. So it's who I attract people into my life that are helping me to heal the shadow of control, to transmute the shadow of control. Like, dude, that's freaking intense. I get it though, because I see this playing out in my life very much. I'm reading through your comments right now to make sure I didn't miss anything. So there it is. Crazy. All right. Well, I want to say thank you guys so much for being a part of this community. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Leave a comment below, especially if you're watching the replay. What did you think about this broadcast? Do you have this energy anywhere in your chart? Do you have anything in Aries at 14 degrees? Do you have anything, you have the 21st gate or Jinki active in your chart? All those things are important. Or the 45. They're going to bring things up for you. So being aware of that is part of how we stay kind of in contact with what's influencing us at this time, during this time. So thank you again and happy full moon. I will be back Sunday night to do the Akashic reading and intuitive reading for the full moon, and to also do our ritual ceremony and to play some original songs. So I hope to see you then, and happy weekend. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys again soon. Sat Nam.